Good morning, guys. So I know I look crazy, but I just had something on my spirit. I debated with myself so many times as if about making this video. I've recorded it, deleted it, recorded, deleted it, recorded, deleted it, and um, I feel like a pull to share this with you guys, and I'm gonna try to keep it under 10 minutes. Um, but if you haven't noticed, I have not been on social media very much lately. And the reason being is because Christmas Day, I was hospitalized for a really bad kidney infection. And I also had an abscess on my kidneys that was leaking fluid into my body, and it was causing me a lot of pain. And I was really, really sick. Now, before I go into that whole story, I want to just give y'all some quick background. So, before I start talking about my kidneys and all that stuff, I've always had the issues. Well, I won't say always. Yes, okay. I have always had problems with bladder infections, urinary tract infections. It's just always been my thing ever since I was really young. I had my first really bad kidney infection when I was about 16, and I was hospitalized for an abscess on my kidneys then. When I was hospitalized, they gave me some medication to shrink it. They said that I should be fine. I may have some scar tissue there, but other than that, it should never bother that abscess should never bother me again. And I went a long while before I still continued to get a lot of urinary tract infections, a lot of bladder infections. In between that time and now, I've probably had about 3 big kidney infections. One I had when I was actually pregnant with one of my kids. I can't remember which one. And I was hospitalized then over, I'm pretty sure, over Christmas or over Thanksgiving or some holiday or some really big holiday. I can't remember. I wish my ex was here because I would ask him. I'm pretty sure he probably remembers staying up at the hospital with me and all that stuff. But anyway, so I've always kind of had issues with my bladder and stuff like that. What happens with my body is that Taria doesn't know when to stop. And so a lot of times when I get sick, I just keep going, keep going, keep going. And it doesn't take a lot of time for a bladder infection to turn into a urinary tract infection. And then the urinary tract infection travels up into your kidneys, you guys. Once it travels up into your kidneys, it doesn't always become a kidney infection. But for me, it happens really fast. I don't know how or why, but it just happens really fast. So now I'm going to tell you what some of the symptoms are just to give you some background. Typically, when I have these kidney infections, I get really severe back pain. It feels like muscle pain. It almost feels like somebody's like back there knocking in my back, like my body's working really, really hard, like a machine is pushing, boom, 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 almost like how you feel your pulse and your heart beating in your chest. I feel it in my back. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, it's just muscle spasms. I don't know, whatever. Um, Sometimes I'll figure it out and I'll get to the doctor. Another really important determining factor for me is migraines. Okay. The migraines are like so debilitating where a lot of times I can't see. I have blurry vision. It hurts to move and walk around and do a lot of activity. I don't know if you guys recall, but last week I was in sunglasses a lot of days because I was having really bad migraines. Right before the migraines started, I started having back pain. Only a couple people knew this because I only go a couple places, either work, church, or hang out with my girls. Like that's my thing. Work, church, or the girls. That's it. And when I say girls, I mean my friends. So work, I was like complaining one day about back pain and this migraine that I was having, but I thought I had some sinusy going on. And I told my mom, like, Mom, I've been having these bad migraines and I think I got a sinus headache, or some sort of sinus pressure built up in my head or whatever. I went on and brought a flush and everything, you guys. Like, this was like a whole week before I went down. Now, Christmas week was one of my busiest weeks for work because I had doubled up on. Okay, so let me explain something. So I work a few different jobs. I do a few different things. I definitely love music full time. That's one of my passions. I have a full time career and I have a part time job as well. With the two things that I love the most. My full time career is I'm a first responder, I'm emergency dispatcher for police, fire, and ambulance in my county. Love it. Been there for 7.5 years. The second job is I work in healthcare. I've been a CNA for 15, almost 16 years. Never gave it up, never stopped doing it. It's always been my thing. And when I found something that I loved more than CNA work, I started doing that full time and then kept my CNA part time so that I could still be active, still interact with people, still be able to give them care and nurture and the things I like to do, okay? So this week, Christmas Day was supposed to be my last day off from my main job. On Tuesday, I was supposed to go back to work at my main job. I was supposed to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those were my 6 days I was supposed to work. I had doubled up on a shift on Thursday night. Thursday night, I would have worked. Well, I had it to where I had somebody come in and was going to work 4 hours for me, but I was supposed to work a 12-hour shift at one job. No, sorry, an 8-hour shift at one job, get off, work 12 hours at another job, and go right in and work another 12. So between the two jobs, there was one period, one lump where I was going to be working a full 24 hours, right? And I'm giving you this background because I'm telling you, it's nothing but God. Nothing but God. I do this to myself all the time. I do this a lot. I work. That's my thing. I'm a single mom now. I'm, newly divorced, trying to make things happen on my own. That's the reality of the situation, And so, that's a whole nother conversation. But that's the reality. I have kids. I have 3 children. I have a music career. I don't want my kids to feel like a lot of things have changed. It's the holidays. I want to recuperate. Just a lot of things that paying bills. You need money to pay bills. And one thing about me is I don't mind working. Nobody can ever say I've ever been a lazy person or I've never not worked hard for what I got. I work. When I say I work, I work. This body has brought me through some things. I work, you guys. So anyway, oh my God, I'm already at 8 minutes. This is probably going to be like a 15-minute video, but oh well. Okay, so anyway, so Monday. So, okay, let's start with Christmas Eve. My pastor had requested that I lead praise and worship Sunday morning at church. Okay. Woke up. Okay, so I got off work. I worked from 3 a.m. till 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. I got off work at 7 a.m. and I was like, well, I'm not going to go home and lay down because if I go home and lay down, I'm going to oversleep for church. So I went and picked my kids up from their dad's house, came home. We all got ready for church, showered, got ready. We had our annual church nativity, and I was asked to lead praise and worship that morning. And then I was also part of the lighting crew for the nativity. I'm only giving you this information so that you guys can understand what I did the day before this all happened. So no sleep, worked 4 hours in the middle of the night, came home, continued on my day like nothing happened. I was not tired. I was not fatigued. I did get a little tired during my set in the beginning, but I think that's because I wasn't feeling well, but I thought that I had a sinus cold or something. I thought that I was coming down with something. I was popping cough drops and drinking water like it was nobody's business. So I thought that it was all sinusy stuff. As you know, as a singer, a performer, your sinuses, your breathing, all that can be affected when you're trying to sing. So anyway, went to church, got through church. We all were supposed to meet up at my sister's house for we started a new tradition, hanging out on Christmas Eve, whatever. And we were supposed to meet at my sister's house. I tell my sister, I really don't feel like going home because if I go home and I lay down, I'm not going to wake back up. So I said, well, I'm going to come to your house a little early. So I came over early. My mom was like, well, good, you're there early. You can help me set up. So me and my mom get there. My mom tricks me into helping her set up. and I end up prepping a lot of the food, and I'm just having a good time with my family, because I have not been able to enjoy holidays for many, many years, because I've always been a second or third shift worker. And I just recently in September was able to go to first shift at my job. And so it frees up my evenings. I get to spend time with my kids, with my family, etc. So I was over there. We were hanging out, having a good time, playing games. The only thing I had to drink that night, well, I mean, like, other than I did have water with me, because I had, like I said, I had been tired a little bit from being up at work, and then my sinuses were draining. I did have water with me, but I also had a Red Bull that night. And then I didn't have any food. So towards the end of the night, I started feeling like, okay, I better eat something, but it was like almost time to go. So I just scarfed down a couple meatballs, ate a couple Smokies, and I was like, okay, kids, we got to get home, because I still had Christmas gifts to wrap. So when I got home, my kids got all ready for bed, and we all went to bed about 10 o'clock, 10:30 maybe. I set my alarm for 2 a.m. to wake up and wrap the rest of my gifts, because I wanted to be sure that they were asleep before I finished wrapping their gifts. So I set my alarm for 2 a.m., woke up at 2 a.m. I was completely fine. Completely fine. And wrapped the gifts. I laid back down. And my mom called me. It had to be somewhere around 7:15, 7:30ish. I don't even know the exact time. But she called me like, hey, and I was still half asleep. She was like, you not up? And I'm like, no. She was like, the kid's not up? And I'm like, no. And she was like, oh, dang, okay. Well, y'all call me when you wake up, because I want to talk to the kids as they're opening up their gifts. I want to hear what they got, whatever. And so now it's just me, my mom, and my sister. That's it. So she was at home, her and her fiance, they're home alone. My sister's home with her kids. I'm home with my kids. So we were doing things a little different. Normally my mom invites us over Christmas Day, which we were planning on stopping over there anyway. But I think she was just she's used to having kids at her house, either a couple of my sister's kids or whatever. She's just used to having kids. So I think that's why she woke up so early. But I told her, I said, yeah, we're not up yet. So now my ex was supposed to be coming over that morning, because we decided that since this is kind of our first Christmas separated, we were going to do something like collectively to, do with the kids. So I said, well, me and the kids plan on cooking breakfast together Christmas morning. So why don't you come over Christmas morning? We can all cook breakfast together, and you can see the kids open their gifts. He was like, okay, deal. No problem. So he had texted me and said, hey, you still want me to come over? And I said, yeah. I said, the kids are still awake, are still sleeping. Maybe come in. He said, okay, come in about an hour. And I said, okay. He said, I'll come in like an hour. And I said, okay. And so then he said, so then I started hearing them coming downstairs. I said, well, the kids are up now, so just come whenever you want. It's no big deal. So right before he came, me and my two younger kids were sitting in the living room, and I was like, man, I really don't feel good. Like, I had this pain in my left side that was just, it was pain. And I have a really high pain tolerance. I'm telling you, I have a high pain tolerance. But I was in pain, you guys. And so I laid there for a little bit, and they were like, oh, Mom, when we're going to open gifts, I said, we're going to wait for Daddy to get here, and then we'll go out and we'll open the gifts. And then I started getting nauseous, and I told my daughter, I said, go get the garbage can quick. And she ran and got me the garbage can. I started vomiting, and it was just the weirdest thing. I'm like, I didn't even eat anything. I didn't have anything in my stomach. Now, remind you, I said from 3 a.m. on Christmas Eve morning all the way up until that Christmas Eve night, I had not consumed any food. I had absolutely nothing in me other than water, a little bit of Red Bull, and a couple meatballs that I put in my mouth when I was going out the door, literally. And so I'm like, I don't have anything in my stomach to throw up. I don't know why I'm so nauseous. So long story short, my ex gets here. We watch the kids open up gifts, and I'm laying there like I'm literally doubled over, like in the fetal position, out in we call it the Toyland. It's like the entertainment room of my house. And I'm like literally doubled over on the futon, wrapped in a blanket. Like, okay, guys, come on, like not really trying to rush them through it, but I did not feel good. So they got through opening up their gift. They got about halfway through before I got sick again, had to run and go to the bathroom. I was vomiting again, came back, tried to lay back down, rinse my face with some cold water, like, okay, get it together, Dre. You can do this. I'm thinking maybe I just, something's just, maybe it'll pass, And I went back out. They finished opening up their gifts. They gave me my gifts. And I said, I appreciate the gifts. I love the gifts, you guys, but I gotta lay down. And so I had asked my ex, I said, will you please cook breakfast for the kids? I'm gonna lay down. I can't do it, And he said, sure, I'll stay and I'll do that, whatever. And so I lay down in my recliner. It was like maybe, I want to say at this time, it's like maybe a little bit after 9, somewhere around maybe 9:30ish. And so I lay down. He cooked breakfast for the kids. I remember him coming out once and saying, hey, do you want me to make you a plate? And I said, no, I'm fine. And he said, okay. And then I don't remember much after that other than I said, oh no, he came back and he said, okay, I'm getting ready to leave. Call me if you need me or something along the lines of that. And I said, okay. I said, I'm going to lay here a little bit longer. I'll let you know when I wake up if I decide to go to the hospital or whatever. He said, okay. And I remember him standing in front of me, putting his jacket on and leaving. And I want to say maybe a couple hours later, I woke up, and at this time, I'm like, I gotta go. I have to go to the hospital. And so I wake up, and the kids I don't know if they had called him or how it happened, or he had called them, or how it happened, but I said, get your dad on the phone right now. And they called, and I said, hey, Court, I got to go to the hospital. I'm not doing good. I'm going to hop up, get ready. Can you please come get the kids? And so he was like, yep, I'll come back. And it had to be I know it was afternoon. I don't know if it was quite 1 o'clock, but I know it was afternoon. And so I woke up, jumped in the shower real quick, told my kids to get ready, get ready, get ready. I'm in the shower literally bawling, you guys. Like, I am crying. Like, not like a boo-hoo cry, like a like a really like a hard from the gut. Like, I am like weeping literally. Like so I get ready and I do the bare minimum, wash my face, throw on some clothes, didn't even put on a bra. Like, I was like, I just gotta if I can just get to the hospital, I think I'll be fine. I'm like, Lord, just let me get to the hospital. At this point, my kids come out. We're waiting for him. I'm like, I can't wait any longer. So I said, I'm just going to meet you and drop the kids off. I literally pulled up, dropped the kids off to him, and zoomed right to the hospital. So when I get to the hospital, I walk in, and they're like, okay, how can we help you? I told them what was going on. And they're like, ma'am, do you want a wheelchair? I'm like, I can't sit down. Like, I can't. It hurts to sit. It hurts to stand. It hurts to walk. It hurts to move. I can't do anything. So they're like, okay, we're going to get you a wheelchair. We think it's safer to put you in a wheelchair. At this point, I'm bawling again. Literally bawling. I can't breathe. My heart is racing. Like, literally. Like, boom, 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 boom. My chest is hurting. My side is hurting. I'm nauseous. I'm dizzy. I got this headache. I am like, Lord, if this is it, if I have to die on Christmas Day, please just let me go fast. Don't let it be this long drawn out thing. So I go, they take me back, they start evaluating me. They instantly give me an EKG. Something was obviously wrong with my heart. So they did one EKG. They came back and they did a second EKG. I obviously read cardiac monitors at the hospital, so I knew something was wrong with my heart because I could tell I was in a sinus rhythm, but I could tell that I was very tachycardic, like in the 130s, 140s, and I had done nothing but slept. Other than what I had did the day before, I had done nothing but rest and slept all day. So, literally, I was like, okay, yes, something's wrong, And so they came back and they're like, okay, so we're going to check you over for a few things. Do you think you may have the flu? Do you think you may have COVID? We could check you for influenza, whatever. You're not running a fever right now. But we could check you for those things. And I said, no, I said, the pain's in my side, so they ruled out a few things. They ruled out my gallbladder based on the side that it's on, so they were like, yeah, it's not your gallbladder. They came in, they said, we're going to get you some IV, we're going to draw some blood, we're going to give you some IV fluids, whatever. We're going to do a CAT scan and see if we can find out what's going on. So they took me down for my first CAT scan. After my first CAT scan, they said, we're just not finding anything. We're not finding anything on the CAT scan or about where you're saying where your pain is. We're not finding anything. We don't see anything. There's nothing there. Everything looks fine. And I said, did you check my kidneys? And they said, well, it was kind of hard to see in that area. And we're thinking that maybe the contrast didn't get there to the right spot where we needed it to go. So maybe we'll order another CAT scan. And I said, okay, I'm fine with that, please. I said, something is wrong. Something's wrong. And they said, okay, we'll do another CAT scan. So at this time, a couple hours had went by, and they go back and they do. I know I got to the ER roughly around 2:00 in the afternoon, and they go back. They do another CAT scan, and she said, this time I'm gonna let the dye run through a little bit slower, so we can try to capture everything on that left side to see what's really going on. And so she said, I just want to make sure this one might take a little bit longer than the last one, whatever. I said, it's fine. I'm not going anywhere, obviously. So, they do the second CAT scan. They take me back to my room. I'm still laying there in pain, kind of going in and out of like a restless sleep. At this point, they have given me IV antibiotics. They had, what else have they done? No, they had not given me IV antibiotics. They had given me IV fluids, and, they did the second CAT scan, and they're like, okay, we'll let you know the results. Now, in the meantime, I had to go to the bathroom. I had to pee really bad. And so I tried to call the nurse, like, okay, I need to go to the bathroom. And when I tried to hold it, like, not like a hold it, but when I tried to hold it, I had a sharp pain in my left side that was like, nope, you better not. You better not. And you guys, this might be TMI, but I'm all about transparency. I literally peed on myself. I could not. My body was like, you cannot hold this. And I literally couldn't. And I was like, oh. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's definitely my kidneys. So when the doctor came in and told me that, yeah, so it looks like you have something you have some sort of abscess on your kidneys that's leaking into your body, and it looks like you might have a kidney infection, and there's something going on there. So I think we're gonna have to keep you. I'm like, yes, of course. And she's like, what? Did you look it up? Did you look up your symptoms or something? I said, no. I said, this has happened to me before. And she goes, oh, okay. And so tell me about what happened the last time. And so I kind of gave her the background about what had happened previously. And she goes, okay, yeah, we're definitely going to keep you. She says, your heart rate is too high for us to let you go home. We're showing that, she said, your white cell count right now is kind of elevated. And based on the blood that we took from you, we are going to run some cultures and see if there's anything else going on or whatever. And so I'm like, okay, yes. So they told me around like maybe 7:00 that they were going to admit me. So this is when I start calling my family. Now at this time, nobody knew that I was in the ER other than my kids and my ex. And I told my kids, don't tell nobody I'm in the hospital, because unfortunately I have a lot of health issues when it comes to my bladder, like I said, and I go to the ER a lot because sometimes it cannot wait for a regular routine visit, and sometimes it happens to me in the middle of the night. Sometimes it happens to me, on holidays, on weekends, so it just kind of depends on when it happens. And so yeah, so they said they were gonna meet me. So I immediately start trying to call my family. My sister's phone she wasn't picking up. My mom wasn't picking up. So I said, okay, I'm gonna start reaching out to my aunts. So I tried to call one of my aunts, she didn't answer. Tried to call another aunt, she answered. And I told her, and she was like, what the hell is going on? And so I'm like, yeah, she's like, okay, I'm gonna try to call everybody. And so she started calling people for me. Like at this time, my phone had been ringing off the hook. People texting me, calling me, Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Day, you guys. It is Christmas Day. And I just I didn't have the energy to reply to anybody because I'm like, what do I say? I'm sick. I'm in the hospital. I don't want to bring down somebody's holiday. And so I didn't reply to anybody. I left everybody on red, literally. So they told me they were going to meet me. They finally get a hold of, they ended up having to send somebody over to my mom's house to knock on the door because her phone was dead. And she rushed up to the hospital. So it's me, her, and my sister there. And they come in and they tell me, we're going to make you comfortable for the night. You have to stay the night in the ER until we can get your room. So basically they made me comfortable all night until they got me moved upstairs. It wasn't until I got upstairs the second day that they told me that I was septic, that my white count had went up, that I was still tachycardic. They couldn't do anything to control my heart rate with the infection in my kidneys and the abscess going on, the high temperature, because I spiked a fever later on that night. I had spiked a fever. I think it was after my mom had arrived. I had spiked a fever. That was my first time having a fever all day that I know of. But I spiked a fever. And then like I said, the second day my white cell count went up. I kept spiking a fever periodically, things like that. So it was, day one was Christmas Day in the hospital. By that second day, the 26th, I had actually gotten worse. Okay? It just so happens that I got worse in the hospital. Now, remember what I told you guys. On the 26th, I was supposed to return to work. And had I had returned to work on the 26th, like I was supposed to, just pushed through Christmas Day like I was fine and everything was good, and had I returned to work on the 26th, Lord forbid if I even made it through the night, if I had even made it through Christmas night to go to work on the 26th, I am 100% sure that I would be dead. I would have died sometime this week. And I'm not being dramatic, you guys. My heart rate was so tachycardic literally up until my third day. I was there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I got discharged on Thursday afternoon. My heart rate was tachycardic literally up until Wednesday. And Wednesday was my third day there. And that's when they finally changed my antibiotics. And that's when I finally started feeling a little bit of relief. I was able to eat on Wednesday. So that's kind of the day where I made the most change. But up until then, I was still tachycardic. I was still running a fever, still full of infection, still having pain, just uncomfortable. And up until Wednesday, I was there Monday, Tuesday, up until Wednesday evening is when I finally started feeling a little bit of relief. I was still in a lot of pain. And even on Thursday when I left, I was still in pain. But I knew that, okay, they got the right treatment plan for me. I'm not having the fever anymore. My chest wasn't hurting. I wasn't having the rapid heart rate. So I knew that I was getting better. So I say all that to say this. Listen to your bodies, you guys. I am definitely one of those people that will push it to the limits. I will push my body until I'm like falling apart. And it doesn't happen very often because I'm so good at it. I don't fall apart very often because I'm so good at pushing myself to the limits. I am 100% sure that if this didn't stop me in my tracks, like I said, I had a week full of 12-hour shifts. And on one day, I was going to work a full day get off for a little bit, go in, work 12 hours at one job, go directly to the next job for 12 hours, and then go home for a few hours, and then come back for another 12 hours, come back for another 12 hours. And I was going to do that for like literally 4 days in a row this week. And I am for sure that if I would have even made it that far, my body would have shut down on me and the situation would have been much worse for me. If this had not stopped me on Christmas Day, because I'm like, Lord, what? Come on now, what you doing? You done got me. I'm sick on Christmas Day. I got to leave my babies, like what is going on? And I just knew when I called into work that night, I'm like, I called and one of my favorite coworkers answered, thank God. And I told her, I'm like, hey, I'm getting admitted to the hospital. I'm not going to be there in the morning. And she was like, oh my God, what's going on? I told her I had a kidney infection, I had an abscess, and told her everything that was going on. She understood. She was like, okay, well, just keep us posted, let us know what's going on. And so I was like, I definitely will, but I am so grateful that I did the right thing by take yourself, get to the hospital, girl. What are you doing? Like, I am so grateful that I listened, and I would say that it was my mind telling me, but it was God telling me, like, get to the hospital now. Like, how many signs do I have to give you? Get there now. And I remember being in the shower and I just kept saying, Lord, please let me if I could just get to the hospital, let me just hold on a little bit longer. I need to make it to this hospital. And I remember hearing in my head, just hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. And I know a lot of times when we hear things, we hear our own voices because that's what we're familiar with. But I know that was the voice of God telling me, hold on, hold on. You're going to make it. Just get there. Hold on. That wasn't me speaking to myself logically because I couldn't even think logically. I didn't even know what day of the week it was. I didn't know right from left. I drove myself, like I said, when I dropped my kids off, I literally pulled up in the street. I didn't even put the car in park. I didn't pull over. I didn't turn on my hazards. I said, y'all get ready to jump out of this car. I pulled up. I said, okay, get out. They said, bye, mommy, love you. Yep, love you too. Once the doors was closed, I sped off, literally. And I was like in survival mode. That's how I felt. I was like, I just have to get there. And I appreciate everybody that was there, everybody that was a part of my care team, the hospitalist, the cardiologist, the urologist, all of my nurses, the techs. Everybody was so sweet to me and so good to me. And I think my mom said it best when she described how people feel about me. She said, you grow on people. I think you kind of grow on people. And I'm just really grateful that they were there to help me and get me through. So post-hospital, they started me on the proper antibiotics on Wednesday. I'm making this video. It is now Saturday, I believe. And so I had to get a PICC line put in my arm to receive my IV antibiotics because they said, we're not going to send you home on any oral antibiotics. We're going to have to fight this thing, and we're going to put you on these antibiotics for a minimum of 14 days. And if we have to extend it, we're going to extend it, but you're going to have to come in daily for infusions. And so I have a lovely PICC line in my arm here. I'm not going to show all of it because I don't know if YouTube will block me if I do. But you can see the bandage there. So I had 2 infusions when I was in the hospital. And then yesterday, Friday, I went for my first infusion on my own, which the process was really easy. It was somewhat scary because my first night at home, Thursday night, my bandage started coming off. I was so scared that this little PICC line was going to come out. But the PICC line, the lady who did that, she's the infusion team, she's really like, you're going to be fine. Don't stress yourself out. You're going to be perfectly fine. So I have to have this in my arm and go in for daily infusions for now the next 11 days. And I feel a lot better. So today would have been, yesterday, Friday would have been my fourth dosage of my third dosage of medication. And I will say that I feel like I'm slowly getting a little bit better. Um, I'm no longer having the tachycardia or the fevers. I still have a little bit of pain in my left side. And until we get another CAT scan, we won't absolutely know if the abscess has shrunk down. They couldn't go in and drain it because it's too close to some other major organs, and they decided against draining it because they weren't able to properly or safely go in there surgically and use the needle and the tubes and remove it the way that they needed, remove the fluid like they needed to do. And I'm appreciative for them for not even going in there and trying, because I'm not trying to be nobody's experiment or guinea pig or be worse off. And so far, it seems like the treatment plan that they have for me is working. So dang, I was trying to keep this under 15 minutes, but it's such a good story, you guys. And it's not just because I came out of it okay. It's a good story because of what happened before I became okay. It's such a good story because God told me, get there, get your butt there. And like I said, I don't know where I would be if I had not made it to the hospital. I don't know where I would be at all. I don't know what life would be like for me right now. I don't even know if I would be able to sit here and make this video for you guys on this day. And so if you've been looking for me, if you messaged me, if you called me, I missed out on a lot. I was absent from my family Christmas party this week. And yeah, I missed a little bit of work, but it was all for a good cause. I had to take care of me. So if you've noticed that I've been absent, this is why. And like I said, listen to your body. We have to learn how to take care of ourselves and stop taking the little things for granted. I went a whole week having these migraines thinking that, oh, I'll just put a little heating pad on my, on my neck and my head, relieve my pain. Oh, I'll just take a little bit of Tylenol. Oh, I'll just wear sunglasses. Oh, I'll just do this, trying to find these little remedies to make myself better, when the whole time I was legitimately sick. And I think that I'm such a fighter that I hate being sick. It feels like I'm being weakened. And I just hate being so vulnerable in that way. Like, I'll be vulnerable in a lot of ways, but when it comes to getting sick, baby, I don't like to be sick. And I'm just really grateful that I was able to spend another day with my family and friends. And my family came to see me in the hospital. My mom and my sister were there like every day. If my mom and my sister weren't there, I had one of my aunts that came in every day. My friends came in to check on me. My pastor came in and checked on me, and it's just so nice to have people around you who genuinely care about you, and I appreciate them. It's a holiday season, people had stuff to do, and I appreciate them for taking time out of their holiday season to come and check on me. And yeah, I'm just so grateful, you guys. So I didn't know how I was going to make a return to social media, or how I was going to kind of build back up the courage to come back to you guys, because I talked about this before about being a content creator, and I'm kind of good at it. I'm really active on social media. I have a team that helps me with it as well. And it's not normal for me to be gone this long, especially not without saying something about me being gone, like if it's something beforehand. So yeah, that was my Christmas holiday, and I'm just really blessed to be alive. I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm going to ring in the new year happy, healthy, whole, and I'm not going to worry about the small things. I prayed about it and I told God I'm not going to fret about the small things anymore. I'm just going to keep living day to day. I'm going to be who I want to be. I'm going to make sure that I speak my mind. I'm going to make sure that I'm very honest and true to myself at all times, because life is short. And I'm hoping that with this revelation, I feel so different about life, you guys. I'm going to start journaling. I'm going to start, of course, the new year's coming too, but I'm not doing it because of the new year. I'm doing it because of my new beginning. I have been given this ain't even a second chance. This is like who knows? This is like a 10th chance. Because there's other times in my life where I could have been stripped away. And God keeps saying, not yet. And it just lets me know that I have a greater purpose. I said I wasn't going to cry. I have a greater purpose. And there is something that I need to do. There's something that I need to complete while I'm here. And it just makes me feel so strong and empowered to know that I made it through yet another obstacle. And not because I did it on my own, but because God was right there with me. There's something so different about fighting alone, or when you feel like you're alone, when you're fighting alone and you're doing things by yourself, versus having God there fighting with you and telling you, hold on, hold on. And y'all, I'm telling you, after I heal up properly and get everything in order, I'm going to be so unstoppable. I'm going to be so unstoppable and so deeply rooted in my faith. I'm going to be making moves, the moves that God wants me to make from here on out. I'm not going to be shy to the things that I've hindered myself, that I've been afraid to do on my own. I'm not going to be shy of those things anymore. I'm not going to be afraid to take risk or speak my mind anymore. I'm going to live, and I'm just going to take advantage of everything, every opportunity that God has presented to me. And I'm just so grateful, because all those times when I felt low, all those times when I felt less than, I just feel so special. I just feel so special and so loved to know that I'm worth it. I'm literally worth it. And I promise to keep this short. It's like a 45-minute video, you guys. I'm so sorry. But I just had to get this off my chest. I couldn't let another day go by without sharing this. Like, I had to. I prayed on it, and I'm like, God, is this something that I need to share? And it is definitely something that I need to share. And so I hope you guys are able to receive me in a way that is true, and receive me in a way that is authentic. Just live and be grateful for the things that you have, because life is short, and to be given another chance, I'm just so blessed. So that's me, the raw, the uncut. I literally just woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't get back to sleep, and so I had to record this video. I hope you guys love it. I hope you guys appreciate it. I hope you guys share it with somebody. I know it's long, but it's such an important part of my life right now. I will never forget December 25th, 2023. God bless. I love you.